Hi everyone, and welcome to our Thursday TNT. Here we are, and thank you for dropping in. So you don't have to bother scanning through all the different Thai news websites. I'll do it for you and cram it into 15 minutes each day. Now today's sort of main headline or topic is panic in tourism. There seems to be quite a lot of panic in the various tourism stakeholders in Thailand that there just aren't enough tourists. We're heading for around about 25 to 28 million tourists this year. And now this follows the highest year they've had in the past, which was nearly 40 million tourists back in the year of 2019, before the COVID-19 pandemic. But, they're probably going to get up to 25 million this year, but that's just not enough. And I sort of figure that there'll never be enough tourists in Thailand. They're always pushing further and further. So we go to these stories that sort of talk about this general panic and how the various stakeholders are coping with it. We start off with BangkokPost.com, and the PM defends new visa waivers despite sagging demand. And the cancellation of flight slots by several Chinese airlines following low passenger demand won't have an impact on the government's visa exemption policy for Chinese citizens. And Mr. Saitar said the sluggish demand is likely caused by the slower than anticipated economic recovery in China, as well as a government policy which encourages domestic travel. And he defended the visa exemption policy for Chinese and Kazakh tourists, saying Thailand's tourism industry would be in a worse shape without them. Forgot to mention, of course, it also applies to India and Taiwan at the moment. And under the policy, Chinese and Kazakh, as well as Indian and Taiwanese tourists, can travel to Thailand without a visa from September the 25th this year until February the 29th next year. Bets on that they're going to extend it beyond that date. And he said that as tourists are spending less since the pandemic, the government will ramp up tourism promotions in other markets and expand the visa waiver to include other countries. And then he says such as Taiwan and India. And no, we don't have any further information about extensions from 30 to 60 to 90 days for some other countries yet. And the Prime Minister also downplayed concerns the scheme would lead to an influx of criminals from China, despite a recent report of Chinese citizens begging for money in Bangkok. So you get the idea. I mean, people from China and Kazakhstan and Taiwan and India can now just jump on a plane with their passport and arrive in Thailand without having to pre-apply for any visas, hence this particular scare. And on Tuesday, Prachacha Turakit newspaper reported the government's visa exemption scheme has not led to a surge in tourist arrivals as expected, prompting several airlines to cancel their flight slots. And when the scheme was launched, the report said the number of Chinese tourists arriving in Thailand rose to 17,000 to 18,000 per day, and this was because the launch coincided with China's Golden Week holidays. And when that ended, the numbers dropped to around 8,000 to 9,000 each day, before increasing slightly to 10,000 to 11,000 per day in November. So is this just a Chinese phenomenon causing a lot of the panic in the upper echelons of Thai tourism? Well, the Director General of Airports of Thailand said flights from China are at 60% of pre-COVID levels. Other countries have reported similar figures, with most reporting about half of pre-2019 arrival numbers. And he said other countries reported a similar situation in which flights from China did not fully resume. Well, flights down from China, but flights down from a lot of other countries as well. And those people jumping on those flights reporting regularly in our comments section that they're up to 2 or 3 times pre-2019 prices. Now, a bit more about that Chinese beggar story, and we go to ThaiPBSWorld.com. Chinese beggars taking advantage of visa exemption to operate in Thailand. And 6 Chinese nationals who were found begging in Bangkok are now in police custody. They entered Thailand legally, taking advantage of visa-free entry for Chinese tourists. And police believe that they're victims or members of a transnational human trafficking network. And 6 of them have been fined between 100 and 500 baht each, and one of them's already been deported back to China, while the rest are waiting deportation. And police say that all 6 will be blacklisted and prohibited from re-entering Thailand for 10 years. And it's reported that each beggar can earn up to 10,000 baht by begging for just 6 hours a day, which is much more than the minimum wage in Thailand, which is about 10 to 12,000 baht per month. We now head to Pattaya, and Pattaya police hold massive beach patrol to boost tourist confidence. We can see in this photo that a gentleman is pointing, which of course makes us feel a lot safer indeed. And a massive patrol took place on the night of November the 21st. It was led by the Chief of Chonburi Immigration, along with over 100 other officers in attendance, including Pattaya Police, Tourist Police and volunteers, both Thai and English-speaking personnel. And the initiative's goal was to strengthen the confidence of visitors to Pattaya ahead of the Pattaya International Fireworks Festival and the Loy Krathong Festival, which will be next Monday. And halfway through this next paragraph, the Royal Thai Police have cooperated with foreign residents in Thailand who hold retirement visas to volunteer their time in providing assistance to tourists. Well, strictly, I think that's forbidden, as I've noted over many years. I mean, I think it's a great idea that retired people can come to Thailand and volunteer their time, but apparently it's strictly illegal. But this is for tourism, so it's different. And the patrol yesterday mainly focused on sharing with visitors how to contact law enforcement, with over 100,000 visitors expected in Pattaya for the fireworks. It's a crucial opportunity to showcase Thailand's uniqueness and promote tourism, because you can't see fireworks anywhere else in the world. And the officer urged business owners to treat visitors with respect and refrain from any exploitative practices. So no scams or expensive drinks, thank you very much. And another photo from the PattayaNews.com, and it looks like there's a line application which people are being encouraged to use to contact tourist police. And we should also encourage people to remember the number 1155 should you want to contact the tourist police in your area, as we head off to our next story on this theme. And this is from traveltomorrow.com. Chinese tourists shun Japan and Thailand amid food and crime fears. And travel wish lists for people all over the world can be influenced by locations, food and cultures seen in films and on TV. Sometimes a country's reputation can turn on a knife edge, as Japan and Thailand have discovered after falling several places in the estimation of Chinese holidaymakers. And both destinations had enjoyed the highest spots in Chinese vacation wish lists in early 2023. And according to a report in China Trading Desk, these are the things that drive selection of a place to travel: delicious food, experience local history and culture, appreciate nature and visit local landmarks, and further down the list, shopping and visiting family and friends. Are they the things that drive your selection for a tourist destination? Be interested to hear in the comments section. More in this story. But the tourism sector suffered a reputational blow with would-be Chinese visitors because of plot lines in recent Chinese movies, in particular No More Bets, which depicts the dangers of people smuggling and online fraud. And further down, a slow economic recovery in China and limited flights to Thailand are contributing to Thailand's issues. And they say it may seem far-fetched for fictional storylines to have such an impact on holidaymakers' imaginations, but the UN has warned that such trafficking is a real problem affecting hundreds of thousands of people. And the Asia-Pacific Senior Advisor on Migration and Human Rights for the UN has confirmed there are numerous compounds in so-called special economic zones, and these are places where people are forced to carry out scams against other people. So there are two sets of victims: the people who have been scammed, but also others that are forced to take part in perpetrating these scams. And then it says, in perhaps a last-ditch effort, the TAT tourism chief met with the Prime Minister and announced a plan 10 days ago for Thai security forces to work with Chinese police in joint patrols at major tourist destinations. And she was swiftly hung out to dry by both the Prime Minister and the police chief after public outrage. Suffice to say that won't be happening. So, what are some of the tourism stakeholders doing? Well, the TAT has come up with this promotion, and it's called Stay and Travel in Thailand, more joyous than ever. and it's aimed at expats, and in fact it's called Expat Privileges. So how do you get a special deal? You can register and log into the website, choose your preferred special deals, and use the special deals at the establishment by showing the promotional code on your passport. So great, I thought I'd check out some of these special deals as an expat. And so there are special deals in accommodation, restaurants, health and wellness, activities and shopping. And I just completely randomly picked this particular hotel called the Century Park Hotel in Bangkok, an establishment I've never been to, and I was completely random in my selection. And it says there it's offering 42% discount. So I can be a little bit suspicious from time to time with offers like that, so I checked on bookings.com for the Century Park Hotel in Bangkok, and oh dear, I can get it for $1,842. I checked on several dates in that promotional time and they were all around $1,842, which is a lot less than the special offered by the TAT of some $2,800. Now, I invite you to maybe check some of their other special deals. Maybe I just chanced on one that just didn't seem to be that particularly special. Thursday's TNT. Thank you for dropping in. We move on to some other news, and this from the PattayaNews.com. Temporary ban on carrying firearms in public areas for 1 year, proposed by the Thai Interior Minister. And there's a few other policy changes as well, which we'll get to. And the Secretary for the Minister of Interior has publicly revealed that even minors or people who have malicious intentions can easily buy firearms or blank guns nowadays. And she said some people may carry both legal or illegal firearms in public areas where they intend to commit a crime. Such action will negatively affect the peace and order of society, economy, tourism, and the image of the country. Yeah, somebody might get shot too. And it says Anutin Charvirakun, the Deputy Prime Minister, drew up a temporary ban on carrying firearms in public areas for 1 year. And the firearms include ammunition, explosives, fireworks and other firearms imitations. But the order will not apply to police officers, military personnel or persons authorised to carry firearms on duty in public areas. Meanwhile, the BangkokPost.com is reporting Anutin issues order to halt gun licences, and he's instructing firearms registrars to stop issuing licences to carry guns for 1 year. And last week, the Permanent Secretary for the Interior said that he'd instructed provincial governors to tell firearms registrars to stop issuing POR 12 licences in their provinces. The measures follow a series of deadly shootings in Bangkok that triggered calls for a review of the granting of firearms licences to the general public and for stricter gun control measures. Well, the issue being that they were highly publicised shootings, hence the swift change to the policy by government officials. We go to this story now and we'll feel a lot safer for it. NationThailand.com saying Crackdown will eradicate influential figures within 3 months. Wow, let's find out more. A campaign to rid Thailand of influential figures will kick off nationwide on December the 10th, aiming to eradicate so-called red category individuals within 3 months. This is from the Interior Ministry. And a list of influential figures, a euphemism for influential crooks, has been compiled since September, and they're going to separate suspects into red and yellow categories. And there were 180 influential people operating in all but 10 provinces of Thailand, and investigators will follow their financial trails, taxation histories and business associations. And he says within 3 months of the campaign's launch, individuals in this group will be no more. And Chadha said that influential figures involved in drugs and illegal loans will be the top targets as their operations affect local communities the most. No more influential figures in Thailand after the next 3 months. We can all sleep easier on that. But I can hardly contain my excitement for this next story, reported in the PattayaNews.com. Jet Ski World Cup to make splash in Pattaya in December. I'm hoping they'll include events like the highest amount of money scammed from a Japanese tourist or the best fake scratch on the side of your jet ski. They'd be great events. And Thailand set to make a splash on the global sporting scene with the upcoming Jet Ski World Championship. It's expected to attract over 2,000 international athletes from more than 40 countries. And the Jet Ski World Cup will be a thrilling showcase of athletic prowess and sporting excellence. Athletes will compete in a variety of disciplines, and with live broadcasts reaching over 121 countries and an estimated global viewership of 100 million, the event is poised to become a benchmark in international sports entertainment. I'm so excited. And the Jet Ski World Cup competition is scheduled from December the 13th to the 17th at Jomtien Beach in Pattaya. And as the world eagerly awaits this sporting extravaganza, all eyes will be on the athletes vying for victory in what's expected to be a historic and unforgettable moment. So you can be part of that history. And thank you very much to the PattayaNews.com. I suspect a copy and paste from a media release from the people who are putting that particular competition together. But yes, Pattaya does have the fireworks on this weekend, which is always a great event and well supported by the local community. So if you like some fireworks, head up to Pattaya this weekend. And with that, I thank you very much for tuning in today. Hopefully you're a bit more up to date with some of the main stories happening around Thailand. Please subscribe to the channel, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.